What's up, y'all? I'm gonna have y'all come along with me today. I'm gonna go try to catch some dinner. I got a 22, a fishing pole, and some old shrimp that needs to be used for bait or thrown away. But I don't feel like I should throw it away when catfish or brim or mudfish, maybe even gar would bite it. So we're gonna go to the river. I'm gonna throw in a pole, just one pole, and sit around, and maybe even a squirrel will show itself. I don't care, surf and turf or whatever we got to do. But I'm gonna cross the street and go over here where the river's a little bit more calm on my side. It's flowing pretty good. We had a pretty hard rain the other night, and my side, there's a couple little slack areas, but they're hard to get to when the river comes up a little bit. So we're gonna come over here across the road and try it over by the monkey tree and see what we can do. So I'm gonna put y'all down for a minute while I walk through here, because there might be a squirrel or two. And when we get set up down there, I'll be right back. Just so you can see, that's where I was fishing in my squirrel video. That's how much the river's come up from the little bit of rain. So probably at least 3.5, 4 feet. But I was standing right down there. My pole was in one of those rocks that are underwater now. But we're gonna walk over there and try that. But river looks pretty nice. It's a little dirty, but hey, you'll never know until you try. Hopefully the shrimp is thawed out enough that I can keep it on the hook. Right there's a set of steps I built a long time ago. Let's see, where's a good place to set up at? I'm thinking this little pocket right here. If I was a fish, that's where I would be in this, with this little bit of current. So we're gonna get at it. All right, let me see if I got the shrimp thawed out enough. I ain't really got a good place to set up my camera, which is just my phone. I ain't got no fancy cameras and all that crazy stuff. But we're gonna give it a shot. This stuff's so solid. I'm gonna have to go dip it down in the water, see if I can thaw it out a little bit. So I'm gonna turn this off, just in case I fall in. I don't really want it to be on video. Alright, I got a little bit of it thawed out. The rest of it will thaw out as it goes, but I didn't bring a rag, bring nothing, man. I'm gonna smell like straight up seafood and fish. Alright, let's give it a go, see what we can find. I have a feeling we're just going to catch a bunch of little bullheads. There's other spots on this river that have some big, good, healthy eating catfish, but I ain't getting in my kayak or boat ready. None of that stuff today. It's about 5 o'clock, and if a squirrel shows up, I'll take it out. If a fish shows up, I'll take them home and clean them. I've been in the mood for some squirrel dumplings. I'd love to do a catch, clean, and cook squirrel dumpling video, but we'll see. I'm already getting a nibble. That shrimp though is a little frozen, so it might be a minute before that thing thaws out good. Or they might steal it right off my hook, I don't know. Today has been pretty chilly. I've had my sweater on all day, and I've been working. I've been working on deer stands, and I haven't broke a sweat. It's crazy. It was 80 degrees yesterday, or not yesterday, day before. It was close to 80. It ain't been chilly for sure. I'm gonna say it's probably like 62 or 63 today, which is pretty chilly for Florida. Even though we did have snow this year, which is insane. But I hope these fish decide to participate today. I haven't had any catfish nuggets in a bit. I feel like most of the flows on this side of the river today. It's taking my line right up into the rocks. Which I would really like to catch a gar, even more than a catfish, man. I would love to make me some gar balls. Well, I didn't have the camera on, but got my first one. Not exactly what I was looking for. It's a pretty good sized bullhead. And yeah. Want me a nice channel. Not this. But hey, they're biting. So I'm gonna keep trying. See you later, bub. I brought not one freaking nothing to wipe my hands off with, so do the old-fashioned way. Get another piece of bait in the water. See if we can't get us an actual eating catfish. got ledges all down here that you'll get hung on. You just got to be real careful. I wish those bullheads taste good, but they're so small. You just about got to fry them whole. And in my opinion, there's nothing better than a flathead and a channel cat. I like blues, but they don't always taste as good as a channel. So I'm really hoping this river has tons of channel cats. I've caught little tiny flatheads, but never anything worth. I mean, I'm talking flatheads like this. I know this river has to have big flats in it. I've just never, in 5 years that I've lived on this river, I've never caught a decent sized flathead. But there's always a first time for everything. And they're more likely to eat live bait. And unless you brought out some decent sized shiners in the state of Florida, you're not allowed to use bluegill. You're not allowed to use goldfish. So kind of limited on what you can fish for them with. Now, if you can get some of the big golden shiners, they do pretty well. But if you don't catch them in the wild, you go buy them. They don't live long enough to do anything. So it's not even worth it, especially as expensive as bait has gotten here lately. But we'll see, man. Maybe we'll get something to eat. If not, I got leftover ribs, chicken, and all kinds of sides from Saturday. We had a big cookout at the house. And I smoked 4 racks of ribs, a dozen chicken thighs, about 20-something jalapeno poppers, and we made all kinds of sides. And I got a bunch of leftovers. I've even got some stuffed mushrooms in there, which are pretty damn good. Something's messing with the pole right now, but I don't think nothing's on it. This water's so deep, when you fish the bottom and these fish stay down in these pockets, they'll eat and stay. They won't eat and run. And especially when the water's moving fast, they don't want to get out into that current. So they stay back in those pockets, and you might have a fish on and never even know it. And you'll see a little bump every once in a while, but that's about it. Every once in a while, you just got to pick your pole up and just see. I can see my line kind of moving a little bit that way and that way. Nothing on right now. But they like the shrimp. At least the bullheads do. That was a fat one too. They're probably spawning. This river temperature has gotten up a lot in the last 2 weeks. We've had some hot weather. And another interesting thing, I grew up in Florida my whole life, but all the springs down in Central and South Florida that I grew up on were 72 degrees year round. These springs out here are 68 degrees year round. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is, but it's pretty damn cold in the summertime when you jump in any of these springs out here, which we have a couple. We have one that's upriver, about 1.5 miles, and it's a fairly decent spring. I think it's a magnitude 2 or something like that. I don't know I forgot how they judge them. But then we got Madison Blue Springs upriver. Takes about 5 miles on the kayak, and it's a huge spring that a lot of divers go in. And I'll have to take y'all there one day just to show you. But yeah, something's messing with it a little bit. Not enough for me to get up and mess with it though. I want that thing to bend like this before I get up there, because I have a feeling all the little catfish are just held up in this little spot right here. I could probably cast over there towards that bank, but it's pretty shallow. But I only brought one pole. I didn't bring another hook, another weight. So if I throw over there and get hung up, fishing's over. So we'll wait it out. I'm gonna turn you off and save some battery. I've been filming building a deer stand all day, so my battery's getting down there. So we'll be back in a minute. Well, just as I turned off the camera, my pole went down, and whatever it was took me straight into a brush, so I didn't bring another hook. So I reckon we'll just walk around and see if we can't find a squirrel. It's our last resort. About all we can do. We got about an hour or so, maybe a couple hours of daylight. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing situated. Might as well throw the shrimp in the river because I'm not gonna refreeze it again. Bait them up a little bit, I reckon. I'm gonna smell real good with all this shrimp in my jacket. All right, see what we can't find out here in the woods. Could be nothing. There's that tree again. Maybe we can find a couple squirrels. I don't need but two to make a good squirrel dumplings. It's just me. My kids are in school and college in North Carolina, actually. So my wife Brandy don't eat nothing, especially squirrel. So these are our friends Mark and Dee. That's their camper right there. They got a pretty little spot on the river. So I'm gonna trounce through the woods for a little while, see if I can't find a squirrel or rabbit, something. But I'll get back with y'all if we find something. So I'll figure I'll just take y'all on the walk with me. This is what we call the RiverHood. There's about, I don't know, probably about 10 houses out here. I think only 3, 4, 5, 7 on the river. And the rest of them are off the river, just off the river. But we, couple, well, I guess 2 or 3 of the houses, people that own houses out here, they don't live here. They live down in South Florida. But they come up once a month, maybe. And, well, this is our road. It's about 3 3.5 miles of dirt road to get back here. And we live down here at the end of it. But not very much traffic out here as a car drives by. We'll walk down here and see if we can't spot any squirrels. If you see me popping in and out of properties, I have permission to be on every property out here, pretty much. I try to take care of the neighbors while I live here full time and they don't. So it's usually quite a few squirrels in this one, but I don't know, but those dogs are going to be really noisy as we walk by. That's all they do is bark all day long, all night long. They like to get my dogs riled up. I think we'll cut through here, cut down this side. Yeah, we think that one of those dogs over here has something to do with why my dog needed surgery. Which, they're in a underground fence, so I've never had them come out. They run out like they're aggressive, but they don't really want to try me today. Not with what I got in my hand. I'm just joking. I would never hurt a dog. I love animals. But they're full-time people, but they're actually selling their place. I wish I would have just bought all these lots out here when they were affordable. They're not so affordable anymore. It's good for my property value, but not so good for my property taxes. Man, usually you see squirrels all over this road, on the edges of the road. Y'all can walk in here with me and check out. We got some new neighbors, Dusty and Jake, and their families bought a piece of property up here, and they're doing a couple little things on the river. And I haven't been in here to check it out since they left, see what they got done. So we'll walk in there. Might be some squirrels in there too. We shall see. It's a nice day. It's pretty nice to be able to walk down the road and not sweat to death. So I'm gonna walk up in here and check out what these boys got going. If I don't bust my butt walking in here. Still ain't seen a dang squirrel, not one. It's a pretty piece of property right here. Very secluded from the road. out of breath. It's pretty much uphill walk from down my place. I'm gonna flip y'all around here. Couple of little, I don't know what you call them, little A-frames they got going. Perfect for camping. I ain't done with them, but they dried in. Pretty cool. Real pretty view from their property. Little platform you can walk out on now. Yeah, you can't beat it out here, man. Such a beautiful place. But I'm gonna stay out here very long. I don't see no squirrels. Try to fight our way through here. Holy cow, man. This hurricane. Used to be able to walk right through this. Open, completely open trail. Not no more. Man. I don't know if I even want to attempt this. Golly. Yeah. No. I'm coming the way I came in. Still not one squirrel. If we ever do see one, I probably won't be paying attention to even see it. Yep, so we're coming back out here to the road. And I think I'm gonna go left back the way I came. Maybe cut through a couple little properties. Maybe see a squirrel. If I got out in the woods and sat down for a minute, I'm sure I would see a couple, but it don't really matter to me. Would be nice, but I'm not gonna starve if I don't find one. Plus I need to get me I just bought this little 22 and it's got one of the worst scopes I've ever had in my life on it. It says a Springfield 4x, and it's like looking through I don't know, it's like looking through a tube, pretty much. Tiny, doesn't really magnify anything, but crosshairs are lined up. I can shoot squirrel with it. It's surprising we didn't lose all of these pine trees in that last hurricane, but they're all still standing. Now I have to excuse these dogs again. We're about to walk right back by them. Man, I'm gonna cut it off till we get by these guys. All right, we got by them. Still telling you, man, I cannot believe we ain't seen one squirrel. I'm telling you, once you pick up a gun out here, they disappear. But this right here is some other folks that don't live here, but I need to turn their water back on. get it back in the pipes for them because we had a pretty hard freeze and I came over here and winterized their house. So this week I need to come over here and put the water back to it. It's a pretty place too. What's really crazy is, might be able to show you on this house. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the camera or not with the lighting, but so you can see where the discoloration stops on the blocks, and you can count yourself how many blocks are there. But where that discoloration is how high the river's been since, I think that would have been probably 2009. That reestablished our 500, or was a 500-year flood. It reestablished us to the 100-year flood. And that's how close it was to going inside this house. And this house ain't low. At all. And they got a nice set of steps going down. They got real pretty big oak trees. But yeah, just to think, man, I mean, that house is, I'm going to say at least 13 foot off the ground, 14 maybe, probably 13. And where I was standing, now we'll come down, and just to give you an idea how far the river's up 6 feet right now. There's a house. Here's the river. Here's the steps down to the river. Yeah, the river's actually up more than 5 feet. It's probably up 5 or 6 feet. But that river right there made its way all the way up, almost into that house, which is absolutely nuts, man. It's just crazy to think. My house is 2 foot higher than this house. This is one of the only houses out here that made it through the this house and the house next door, which those are some of the people that I don't really talk too much, but those two houses are the only two houses in the neighborhood that didn't get water in them. And everything else out here either has been flooded or got flooded to the point where they tore it down and rebuilt much higher. Still hurricane debris all through here. So that is my next door neighbor's house. And it was put in here after the flood of 2009. So it's seen some high water. I mean, right here where I'm standing. Yeah, not really that part, but right down there in that little low spot, just over my head. I mean, when the river's not even, just barely coming over the banks. Well, that was a very unsuccessful squirrel hunting mission. Now my dogs are gonna start hollering at me. going back to my place. What are y'all doing? What are you boys doing? So, well, I guess that's the end of my rant today. No squirrels. One fish. I feel like that's the story of my YouTube channel so far. Striking out. And anyway, y'all stay tuned tomorrow or the next day for I'm building some deer stands. I think I mentioned it earlier in this video, but I'm building some deer stands, and I kind of went through the whole process of how they're made, and it ought to be pretty decent video. Yeah, I got to get this unbeached. This is my riverbank, my river deck. That's the only piece of damage I got from the hurricane on any of my stuff. Luckily, lost my light up there. That light used to be, well, that light right now, you can see, it's probably about 20 foot above the water, but it's normally about, it's usually about 23 foot, 22 foot. And the last flood took that light out. That was my one solar light that I had down by the river. Gone. That's one thing about this river. If you have something like those steps, that dock, this. Whoa, hang on, I got all kinds of zoomed somehow. This stuff right here. Don't fall in love with it, because might not be here next week. But that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully see you guys this week on my my build video for my deer stands. But until then, peace out. And by the way, I'm just getting started on this, man, and I'd love for y'all to subscribe. Just click that subscribe button and maybe like this video. It would be very much appreciated. All right, man. Y'all have a great evening.